Welcome back. Well, after launching at the start of the month, Melbourne-based company Protecti are already attracting interest from a number of big players in the financial and banking markets. Working similarly to PayPal, Protecti offers a service for big purchases like cars or even houses. Well, Sky News business reporter Harry Frost spoke with company founder and CEO Simon Lenton and asked just how that service works.
Well, this service is ideal in situations where you're usually paying for something that's quite expensive, so a high-ticket item, an item in the thousands of dollars, sometimes tens of thousands, sometimes even hundreds of thousands. So you would feel quite nervous about using conventional payment systems. Most people don't spend or use PayPal to transfer thousands of dollars. They would generally go to their bank, either get a bank cheque or withdraw cash and hand over cash to the party. And that's easy if you're meeting with the person selling the item. If the person selling the item is on the other side of Australia, well then how do you make payment? So for interstate transactions, or where there's a delay between payment and receipt of a good or service, that's where our service comes in, because the funds are held securely by an independent third party whilst the goods are being delivered or whilst the service is being performed. And only when the buyer is fully satisfied with the item or service will they instruct Protecti to release the funds to the seller. And those funds go directly into the seller's bank account. So it's safe and it's really convenient. Much easier than a bank cheque and much safer than cash.
And I understand you can use a credit card for the service as well.
That's right. So our system actually provides the facility for a buyer to pay their funds to Protecti from their credit card account through BPay. We've had situations where users have bought cars up to $90,000 on their credit card. The beauty of it is that most financial institutions actually consider that type of purchase a purchase for the purpose of attracting reward points on the credit card and also for interest-free periods as well.
Is there a guarantee of security with that money?
Absolutely. So the funds, when the buyer pays the funds to Protecti, those funds are paid into a secure trust account held with National Australia Trustees, part of National Australia Bank. A totally separate entity from Protecti, so if anything should happen to Protecti, the company, the funds are safely and securely separate from the Protecti business.
Does the service only operate within Australia at the moment?
Protecti is limited within Australia. There is a sister product that operates internationally, but right now Protecti is focused on Australia for the time being.
And what sort of response have you got to the service so far?
The response has been overwhelmingly positive. Many have wondered whether, how long it's taken for them to actually hear about the product and whether they could hear about it more often. We find a lot of interest from particular marketplaces, so websites that are selling products. Often there's a lot of interest in the vehicle market, in the home improvements market, and domain names and virtual real estate is also a great an area that we service a lot.
So how does the service differ from PayPal, for instance?
The main difference with PayPal and these other payment services is the payment process. The fact that the buyer pays to a neutral third party who holds the funds and confirms those funds there until the buyer is satisfied with the goods. PayPal actually focuses mainly on smaller transaction sizes. They're interested in very quick transaction times, so fast payment, quick, easy and simple. They generally don't offer buyer protection or seller protection for certain types of transactions, for instance vehicles or any kind of service. So they focus more on buying and selling tangible items. Protecti comes in and actually fills that gap and actually provides a secure payment system for more expensive or higher ticket items. Whereas PayPal does an average transaction amount of around about $90, Protecti's average transaction amount is around $5,000 to $10,000. So we deal with larger amounts. You could effectively view Protecti as a bank cheque replacement service. Much quicker, much safer, much more convenient than a bank cheque.
Now your company's only been around for a few months, you're a startup, and you used to be a litigation lawyer?
Indeed I was, yes, and I enjoyed working in the legal profession a lot. It gave me a lot of insights into how transactions work and particularly how disputes work. Generally, as a solicitor, if you're engaged in litigation, it's, in a commercial context at least, it's often one party trying to claw back money from another party. What we saw there was an opportunity to actually create a payment system where the funds are actually suspended above both parties. So in the event of any dispute, suddenly there is a level playing field and the parties are actually far more amenable to resolving that dispute because neither one is holding the balance of power.
And is there wider spread applications for the service? Are you looking at branching out into other areas?
We think that the markets are big enough to actually make Protecti quite successful. We just think that wider adoption within these markets is going to be the key. We think that buying and selling a vehicle, for instance, or professional services, home improvements, even importing, exporting is going to be huge, and Protecti is going to really enter that space and provide massive value for both parties.
So what's the next step for getting Protecti out into the market?
We're actually getting, we've got discussions with some overseas companies as well who are looking to license the product, but from here it's basically deciding how we're going to actually get our name out there and grow. Volume is key for this type of business.